Ladies and gentlemen, salamun alaikum and welcome to hashtag LNT with your late night host Hamoudi here coming to you live from the holy city of Karbala. Now, episode 64 coming your way, mashallah, amazing way we have paved for all the viewers and everyone out there watching us. We do apologize for not going live the day before yesterday on Monday. There were some technical difficulties going on, alhamdulillah, they were resolved. But if you guys didn't check out Ramadan was a blast for hashtag LNT. So if you want to check that out, it's all up on YouTube. You guys can go check out 30 episodes of exclusive episodes of hashtag LNT that came in Ramadan. Very nice. You guys can check them out. But tonight's topic is very important as well. Tonight, we're trying to talk about the people that not everyone pays attention to or tries to ignore most of the time when walking down the streets. We won't say anything further, but let's go check out what's trending and come back to see what tonight's episode is all about. Welcome back, dear viewers. Hope everyone is enjoying their night. Now, I know some of you guys are watching Brazil versus Serbia or Costa Rica versus Switzerland, but hashtag LNT is bringing the World Cup to you because, you know, most of the 16, for whoever's following up with the World Cup, most of the 16 spots are almost filled. We have, you know, tonight, if my favorite team, Brazil, they're up by 1 right now. We keep on checking the score. Switzerland are tied with Costa Rica, but, you know, we'll see what goes on there. But, you know, whoever is following up with the World Cup, wow, what happened with Germany? Wow. You know, if you guys, you know, I'll just like take a minute and, you know, talk about the World Cup because it's my favorite season. You know, if you guys were just to follow up, 2006, Italy won. 2010, Italy never made it through the group stages. Spain won. 2014, Spain never made it through the group stages. 2014, Germany won. And now, Germany never made it through to the next round, to the 16, which gives us a hint to see who's going to win. A lot of people are saying Belgium, a lot of people are saying Uruguay. But Brazil just scored another goal, you know. Yeah, we win it, baby. We win it. But let's go check out what tonight's topic is all about. Let's be serious, guys, tonight. Let's go check out the topic and come back to you very short. Once again, we do welcome everybody joining us tonight on hashtag LNT. We do apologize once again for not going live the day before yesterday. Inshallah, those technical difficulties won't be repeated, so we can continue our amazing journey down hashtag LNT road. But imagine yourself, or maybe you are, taking a stroll down with your family down New York City. You know, you see the beautiful streets, the beautiful malls, the stores, and the beautiful people of New York. Now, everyone's going on living their life. Normally, everyone's just chilling, walking down those streets. Not a lot of people are noticing the people sitting on the sidewalk with nothing to fill their bellies with, barely anything to eat, feeling hopeless. Now, as I said before, you guys are walking down the streets of New York and you see a homeless man holding a sign saying any spare change will help. You know, I see a lot of signs in Canada and in Toronto and in New York. You know, you see a lot of signs, just like the guy right there. You know, so, you know, a different sign saying any change will help. I'm cold, any piece of clothing will keep me warm. Down on luck, spare a buck, amazing sign, but, you know, a very, you know, sad situation, but meaningful sign he has up right there. And, you know, it's sad to see such individuals in that state. Now, what do you do? I mean, how does it make you feel? First of all, do you stop? Or do you just keep on walking and turn a blind eye? And if you do stop, do you just look at that person and walk away? Or do you actually give them some spare change? Now, how does seeing a person in such a state make you feel? And would you put yourself in that person's shoes? Would you like to be in that situation? So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to answer to homelessness, because it's becoming a very serious issue, not just on a national scale, but it's becoming a global crisis that everyone's facing, especially in less developed countries, but developed countries are also facing. So in every society, all societies are facing this crisis, and it's happening to this day. Now this is why hashtag LNT chose to ask the question for tonight. You guys ready? In 3, 2, 1, hit it. How do we end homelessness? That's your question for tonight. Very easy question. Give us your thoughts, give us your ideas on how to end homelessness. How you can do that: participate by picking up the phone, dialing the number shown right there, +964 774 067 1836, and let us know what you guys think about tonight's topic and tonight's question. How do we end homelessness? Very, very simple question. Give us your thoughts and ideas by participating. You can call us, you can send us a text message, you can send us a voice message. We're also live on Facebook, so you guys can go check us out right there as well. Let's take a quick break and come back to continue talking about tonight's topic. Once again, we do welcome everyone for joining us tonight. Again, we do repeat the question for you guys. How do we end homelessness? The question is down there at the bottom. The phone number to call us is also down at the bottom. So what you can do is pick up the phone, open WhatsApp, down that number shown right there, +964 774 067 1836, and let us know what you guys think about the question shown right there at the bottom. Right there at the bottom. Easy, easy, easy. Give us a text message, shoot us a text message, give us a phone call. It's free, no charges. Give us a voice message, send us a voice message to that same number via WhatsApp. We're also live on Facebook, so you guys can go check us out right there. But if we were to go and look at the situation of homelessness and what's going on, for me, I like to dive deep into situations, into topics, to give you guys a better episode. But homelessness now it's evolving into a national and international crisis, as I mentioned before. Within developed countries, this is very interesting at the same time. Within developed countries, homelessness is now is believed to be approximately 2% of most urban populations. Now, within these developed or urban populations, you have 20% of people who lack proper housing, and that's unfortunate. This is a study, according to a study done by Yale University, so you can tell that it's precise. Now, before diving into the solutions as to how to end homelessness, let's go back and look at what causes homelessness. What's homelessness caused by? Number one, it's caused by poverty. And what causes poverty is the unemployment, lack of employment. Now, what also causes poverty and homelessness is the lack of affordable housing. And that's very important. We'll get to talk about that later on. Another one is the poor physical and mental state, which causes unemployment sometimes, majority of the times, and sometimes that leads to homelessness. Another one is the drug and alcohol abuse. Another one is gambling. Family and relationship problems can also lead someone to going and living on the street. Domestic violence. A lot of people, when they leave a relationship due to domestic violence, they're emotionally disturbed, they're emotionally abused. So they don't know how to deal with situations. So they end up losing their jobs. They end up losing their house. They end up losing their children. So they give up on life, they end up on the street. And that's very sad to see. Another one is the physical and sexual abuse, which also falls under the title of domestic violence. Now, all these factors can cause a person to become homeless. They can also be the reason why people still remain homeless. Now, we have some charts to show you guys, but before that, let's take a text message from Kareem from the USA. What does Kareem say? Kareem says, I think the best way to end homelessness is through sadaqah. Through sadaqah. Personally, I have a box at home where I put my spare change. At the end of each month, I open the box and help one of my homeless friends. Very nice way to help the homeless, Kareem. Thank you very much from the USA. But at the same time, you get good deeds because you're putting out sadaqah, and second, you're helping out homeless. So it's very beautiful. So there you go. One of the ways that you can help the homeless and end homelessness is by having a sadaqah box or any kind of box where you put spare change. But we do remind everyone to call in and let us know what you guys think about tonight's question. Very important for you guys to do that, because we're trying to find out and we're trying to end homelessness and change people's lives. But as I mentioned before that text, we have a few charts to show you guys on how to actually end or what's the homelessness situation going on around the world, especially in the United States. So let's pull up those statistics to show everyone. So the first charts we have is that who are the homeless? Very, very general question, very, very specific question, sorry. So who are the homeless? Let's check them out. Now, more than half of all homeless people counted in the USA report suffering from a physical or psychological problem that makes it specifically difficult to get indoors for good. And there you have a chart, you know, the chronically homeless, 17%, the severely mentally ill, 20%, the chronic substance, 20%, that's high. The veterans, 9%, HIV, AIDS, 2%, victims of domestic violence, 10%. Now, this also raises the misconception that talks about homelessness, but it raises a misconception about homelessness as to, you know, people when they see a homeless person sitting on the street, they don't know the circumstances of that individual. They think he has HIV, he has AIDS, he has diseases, so on and so forth. They don't know the situation that made this individual be in this specific state. So they keep on doubting his intentions, they keep on doubting his ability to work, not knowing that maybe, you know, something went in. But we do have a video of how people think of homeless people, but it's not from the general perspective. No, it's from a homeless person that answers himself as what do people think of him and his fellow homeless individuals. So let's check them out.
They're dirty, scary people, and you know, I know some of them have drug addictions and things like that, and alcoholism, but a lot of that's from so they can't deal with their problems, or they have a hard time adjusting to their situation. Some of them don't care, but a lot of them are just trying to dig themselves out. A lot of them, they're
All right, so we heard it from him. A lot of people have that, you know, that idea of, you know, homeless people, you know, having AIDS, having diseases, being drug. Although there are, you know, we just seen 2%, but that's not all of them. You know, that shouldn't stop you from helping them. You know, helping a person may actually, and if they find you coming from a Muslim background where your faith, you know, prohibits you from drinking alcohol or doing drugs and stuff, that may actually help that homeless individual to change his way. You know, for no bragging and stuff, but in Canada, when you help someone out, you know, or anywhere else, we don't want to be specific, anywhere else, when they help someone out, especially if you give them more than like $2 or $3, you know, if you give them like a 5 or 10 or 20, they're going to ask why so much, because they haven't, you know, their expectation isn't that high, and they'll start to ask you a question, where are you from, what's your name, and all that. So when they do know that you're Muslim, and also if you're giving it, do tell them that, you know what, our religion encourages us to help those homeless. Let's look at, there's another chart also to tell us who's homeless specifically, a very interesting chart to be honest. Now, 43% are homeless men, single men, which are homeless. 33 are families with children. That's a huge number. Now, single women are 17%. Now, unaccompanied minors is 3%, and then unknown is like 4%. But it's crazy. It's actually very unfortunate to see that such individuals are going through we do apologize. The electricity cut off. You know, in Iraq, we had an episode about that, about electricity in Ramadan. So you can go check that out as well. So we do apologize for electricity going out. But everyone watching us will actually get to know what I'm talking about, especially the Iraqi brothers. You'll get to know how much electricity goes off in Iraq. But it's good the cameras didn't go off. But as I was saying, you know, it's unfortunate. A lot of people, when they see these charts, sometimes they won't believe it. But 33% are homeless families, you know, with kids, with children who are living on the street from shelter to shelter, which is unfortunate. Now, let's move on to some of the solutions that we can, you know, come together or, you know, raise awareness in, share a tweet, Facebook post, Instagram post, you know. But let's go through some of the solutions on how to end homelessness. Number one, and that's the priority, is housing. Homelessness is fundamentally defined by the lack of housing. If a person is homeless, he's home and he's less. So there's no home in the middle. He lives on the street. So when providing a house for that individual, whether it be a shelter, but it needs to be a proper shelter where that person can stay there and, you know, develop his skills, as we get to talk about it later on. But that's the best solution to provide, is the affordable housing. You know, in Canada, in the States, they do have these government housings, but sometimes it is too much where that person can't really provide anymore. But also, that right there is a solution, but that needs to increase because now it's decreasing. Another one is the services, and this is very, very important. Services, a wide variety of services, of course, affordable at the same time. Housing is essential, but providing services such as training services, such as development services, such as making them more interacting with society, bringing them all together. If you remember I think it was Saturday's episode, where we talked about widows and how we can you know, solve their problems and are they our responsibility. You know, the same way, bring them all together, listen to their stories, because honestly, when another homeless person listens to the experience of another homeless person, they might learn. They might begin to, you know, develop their own skills, and, you know, they say, you know what, I'm not going to go down that road, I'll go down that road. And also have coaches, life coaches, that can help them develop their situation, develop their mentality, and so on and so forth. But let's take a text message that we received from William from the USA. He says, I have friends who are homeless. I go and visit them every month. I give whatever I can, and they are happy to see me. I think we can try to end homelessness by being friends with the homeless. Another very important message, and actually another way where we can end homelessness. Thank you very much, William, for joining us tonight. Now, another way where we can help the homeless, or we can end homelessness, is the social connectedness. And that's important as well, because bringing the homeless together and integrating them with society is another way, and it's a very essential way to mentally and physically develop the homeless individuals, because loneliness really destroys the individual. It leads to depression, it leads to anxiety, where that person isn't willing, he gives up on life or she gives up on life. And that's a very dangerous state to be in. So make them integrate with society. Have, as I mentioned before, services that can really make them feel like they're welcome within that society, instead of, you know, when you're walking down the street, you push them away. If you don't, they're gonna feel lonely, and as I mentioned, ends up in anxiety and ends up in depression. And sometimes, unfortunately, and it happens, we can't say a lot, but frequently, is the suicide. Frequently means a lot, yeah. But you know what I mean. Occasionally, it leads to suicide. Now, the fourth solution that we can have for them is programs for the homeless. I know I mentioned within the services, but program for the homeless really helps them grow, specifically for the homeless, specifically for the women as well. Because in the States, we do know that a lot of jobs have been cut. The medical care the Medicare is taken away, and a situation that's happening where people are left to live on the street. So making programs for the homeless will definitely increase their chance of being more welcome within society, make them more friendly looking. We have the Who is Hussein, and then we have a lot of campaigns going around where on a specific day they go and help out the poor. They have shelters, they have soup kitchens for them, they shave their heads, there's free dental care for them. So more initiatives like these will raise awareness for the homeless, and will actually make them feel like they're welcome within society, instead of make them live beside a garbage can and so on and so forth. But we have a second video to check out and to see how will this state or this crisis end. So let's check it out from a homeless perspective again.
I think it'd be a good idea, but people have been saying that for a long time, that they're going to end it and things are going to be done about it. But in reality, things haven't really been done. They've been kind of moving in the opposite direction, especially in this city. Basically what they do now is try and shove it under the carpet, the whole issue, like put people in shelters and stuff like that. They need to actually deal with it, make more affordable housing, make more sustainable employment, and help people get employment,
Realistically, if you want to, end homelessness, I guess, you can start by not shutting down shelters. I've been in that situation and there's no support. When they finally have these guys in there, teach them something. Encourage them to get out of their ways, because a lot of the guys are just going from shelter to shelter to shelter.
Honestly, it's really heart-touching to see such individuals who are able to contribute so much to society, but yet they're left out to live on the street. So we do go back and let everyone know what we said before: program for the homeless, and housing, affordable housing for the homeless will really help them a lot. Programs make them more integrated within society, let them grow, because when they feel like they mean something to the society, they'll start contributing more, and everyone will know how friendly these individuals are. But a lot of people who you might look up to, or you're a fan of, or you love them so much, you have their pictures hung up on your bedroom, or in a car, or on your phone as a wallpaper. A lot of them were actually homeless before they became that famous. We'll begin with Steve Jobs. That's one individual. This guy right there, you guys know him, the guy who developed iPhone. Coming in next is Dr. Phil. I didn't even believe this, but this guy was homeless, and he has a whole episode in a book written on him before being homeless. Ted Williams, who actually became very famous for his voice, and then one of the TV radios bought him. Jim Carrey, who everybody loves his comedy, was also homeless. J.K. Rowling, the famous author that everyone has read her books and watched her movies, she was also homeless. Wayne Rooney, who plays for the UK and plays for England and plays for the Manchester United, he was also homeless before becoming one of the most famous football stars in the world. So looking at these individuals, one has to wonder, how did they come out of that situation to becoming that famous and contributing so much that people start to look up to them, start actually being like them, acting like them. On Halloween, they dress up like them. They've changed their life 180 degrees. They went from being homeless to having one of the nicest and biggest houses and the nicest cars and so on and so forth out there. And being more famous than a lot of people. We don't want to mention who, but a lot of people, So we have to look at these situations, learn from them on how they contribute, how they change their life, and go, even if your budget is very simple, try to organize something very easy, very, very small for the homeless. Gather like 10 or 15. Talk to someone that can, you know, get you some funds. Small funds, you really don't need more than $100. Get some juices, buy like a head shaver, hair trimmer, shave them, clean them, make them look nice, let them sit around, let them talk to each other, know each other. So when you have a family, that can grow. That situation can really become calming, and it will erase homelessness from the lives of the homeless individuals. But as every episode, we like to look at the last portion and see what Islam says about homelessness. Now, Islam gives us some situations, some solutions, sorry, as to how to end homelessness. Number one is the encouragement of work and gain. I know a lot of places and a lot of countries around the world, there is a huge lack of employment. Not a lot of people are employed, but try to work wherever you can. You know, in Iraq, it's very simple. You just have like, open a bastilla wherever you want. A bastilla is like a tray or a wagon that you put your stuff on and you start selling. But in other countries, it's like a mobile shop. But also, out of Iraq or in other countries, find any sort of way to start up a business, become an entrepreneur. You know, right now, you know, it's hard. It's hard for a homeless person to think of that word and for that word to hit in his head. But trust me, even impossible has the two words, I am possible. So even keep that in mind, because nothing is impossible. Start out with selling gum, start with selling something candy, something very simple. You know, cigarettes, we're not trying to promote cigarettes, but if that will make you grow, something small like that, sell it. I don't smoke it, but sell it. Cigarettes, of course, nothing else. So start off with something simple. Because honestly, it will make you feel like you've done something for yourself. Another one is going to God. A lot of people have this thing in mind. When they become homeless, when they become in a very bad situation, they forget about God. They think that everything that's happened to them is because of God, and God has decreed that onto them. Absolutely not. Turn back to God, whether you're in a good state or in a bad state. Because honestly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says we are closer to Him than the vein in the neck. So you're never alone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God, is always with you and is always willing to help you. All you have to do is reach out. You know, imagine you have that friend who's a millionaire. Imagine you have that friend who has everything. You go ask and he gives it to you. If you're in time of despair, won't you go to that person? Absolutely you will. So why not turn to God and remember God, and He'll remember you. Another one is the compassion and integration. And that's important because Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says very, very beautifully, he writes in his will, he says, integrate the poor in your lives. One day Imam Ali was walking down the streets of Kufa. He saw a Christian man begging. He said, what is this? Not who is this? He's asking about the action, not about the person. The person was Christian, and Imam Ali knew that. But he asked, what is this? One of his companions said, Amir al-Mu'mineen, or the commander of the faithful, he's Christian. He says, so? When he was young, you took his crops, you took his material, you bought from him, you sell to him. But now because he's old and blind and can't see and he's not good to work, you left him to rot on the street? Is that how you return the favor? He says, now go give him a salary from Bayt al-Mal, from the government finance. So if anyone around the world was to take that into consideration, trust me to say, there would be no homeless individual out there. So there you have it, my dear viewers. Always put that helping hand out and help anyone that you can see. Although yes, you're giving out maybe like what? In a week you're giving out $20, but trust me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will triple, quadruple, and will times that by 100. So let's come together and end homelessness, because honestly, hashtag LNT and the family of hashtag LNT wants to end homelessness. But that's it for tonight. That's Ahmed Ali. Tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, 10:30 p.m. Karbala time. That's 8:30 p.m. London time, and then you can do the math with other cities. But thank you very much for tuning in. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.